Cinema, the only show that's 3 dimensions away from A Quiet Place being called Shh. I'm your host, 3D Jake, and today we're looking at A Quiet Place, released in 2018. A Quiet Place is directed by John Krasinski and is written by Brian Woods, John Krasinski, Scott Beck, and the movie stars Emily Blunt, John Krasinski, Melissa Simmons, and Noah Jupe. The movie is essentially a movie about an alien invasion happen, and then basically there's this family that's living on this farm, and they have to be quiet, and they have to basically learn how to be silent because they cannot talk or nothing, because the aliens essentially hear you. They can't see because they're blind, but they can hear you well. So basically any noise can attract them, and so they have to learn to be quiet and everything. And so the movie shows you basically, it doesn't show you the alien invasion, but it shows you basically the aftermath and these people having to live in that world where the only time they can talk is that they go behind a waterfall because loud noise attracts the aliens. So they have to go by where the aliens can't detect, like a waterfall or something like that, or certain things like water and different things that where like this the only time, like, you know, or like for instance, you know, like a basement, you know, there's different things that where they can have conversations, but most of the time they have to be quiet. And so essentially, it's like have a strategy about how to survive an alien invasion and be quiet. Because I really do like this movie. Like this movie gives you an interesting take, you know, like, and obviously this movie was a unique experience because it's basically about an alien invasion movie post invasion where the aliens won, and basically humans trying to adapt in a world where aliens live, and even though they can't see you, they can hear you well. And like it also helps that one of the lead characters is Death, you know, and Melissa Simmons, who plays Krasinski and Blunt's daughter, she's a death in real life, and so basically she has to, like, you know, imagine being death and then also being like in this world, like, oh, that's even worse because it's like at least you can hear yourself. So that's what really hurts, is that you can hear yourself when you're moving around, but if you're deaf you can't. So basically you're fucked if you're in this world. I mean, imagine being blind in this world. That'd be even worse because essentially you're gonna die because there's no way you cannot, you know, be blind and also and be in this world, because unless you're an alien, because the aliens can basically like just do whatever they want, you know. And I think that's what's kind of scary about this world, is that, you know, you're living in a world where the aliens have won and there's no way to stop them, because you could say, well, why don't they just go get guns or something, or and like, well, it's because they're bulletproof, that's why the military lost against them. And so, you know, and obviously there is ways like loud, really loud noises, like, you know, and stuff, you know, or towers essentially to kill them. And I mean, you know, there are things about this movie I really love. Like, I like the atmosphere. It gives us a different perspective of an alien invasion movie. It's not like you just see an alien invasion happen and then humans have this go through and all that stuff. Like what happened, for instance, the Quiet Place Day One, which is the one that's coming out this Friday. That movie essentially, I think if they would have started out with that movie, I don't think it would have been as interesting compared to We Got a Quiet Place, and that kind of gave us this idea of a post alien invasion world. And I think that's what really I like about it, is because it shows you, okay, alien invasion happened, we lost, now we're having to adapt. You know, and I think that's what really makes it unique about it, is that they're showing you, like, you know, they imply all this stuff happened and you're just seeing these people struggle. And I think that's what makes it real. It's not that, you know, they're trying to make it theatrical and all that stuff. Like, it's not like an Independence Day. But imagine like a post Independence Day where the aliens won. And only this time it's they're death. You know, it's a death aliens. You know, and you know, or blind aliens that, you know, and you're having like to, you know, use, you know, like their weaknesses against them. Like, you know, they can't see, but obviously they can hear you. Like, and at the beginning of the movie, I think is what's really messed up, is one of the coolest things is like there's a kid like gets his train. I was like, what? And it's just like one of the craziest things happen. And then like alien, like it plays, it really wants the batteries to be put in this toy car or like a little or a rocket, whatever. And all of a sudden it makes noise. All of a sudden, as they run and try to turn it off, all of a sudden an alien gets him, and it's just so messed up, you know. And I'm like, that's the opening scene, and just to see, like, you know, and on top of it, there's so much stuff in this movie that happens. Like John Krasinski, he plays the dad in the movie that's trying to survive, you know, with his family. And Emily Blunt plays his wife, who is his wife in real life, and she's pregnant with the, and like she steps on a nail, and then she has to give birth in the tub, and the aliens there, and it's like it's just one of those craziest scenes ever in the movie. And you're like, this is so brilliant and unique. And it's like, why isn't like more movies like a unique movie with a unique perspective? And I think a lot of times movies like this would just be a huge gamble and probably wouldn't get made unless they're really, really cheap, because most studios don't want to make a movie like this. They'd rather just make like, hey, we'd rather make more of the same. And obviously they're making more of these movies because they're cheap to make. And so And I think that's really what's great about this movie is that it's an alien invasion movie that kind of gives you a different perspective of it. And that's what I really just think that's unique. I think the cast is really well done, like well acted and everything. John Krasinski doesn't make you feel like, oh, this is Jim from The Office. It makes you actually feel like, okay, they really live in this world, and it's not even though he cast his wife in this movie as his wife in this movie. I think he really does a great job. She does a great job. They're both tremendous actors, and it's really like you actually believe he is this character and he's trying to survive with his family. And it's really great that he directed this because it really is well directed and it's well acted. And I like there's a scene with him and his daughter behind and in the waterfall that I thought was just well done. And also how he sacrificed himself at the end to save his daughter's life and everything. And he's like, that right there I thought was well done. And Emily Blunt in this movie, I thought she was really well acted in this movie. Like she really it's just like home, especially the bathtub scene I thought was really well done. And I like how at the aliens they find their weakness and they kill all the aliens at the end, and it just shows you like it leaves their fate ambiguous, even though there's a sequel, but like they left their fate ambiguous in this movie, and I thought that was well done. I also like the kid actors. I think the kids really do a good job at selling. They live in this fear, especially Mel Simmons' character, who is death in real life. She really does a good job at selling that she is death, and I really thought, like even though she is death in real life, but she does a good job at Someone's character. And I thought, like, I believe that she's good as well in this movie. Like, it isn't just like just a traditional like you hire a deaf actor and then they're just gonna. But she does like a good job at acting in this movie too, even if she wasn't deaf. She was just as a good actor in general. And I also think that the idea like the scenes of how they have to step on this, or they have to walk around, they have to walk up on, like flour and sand and stuff like that because they try to make no noise as possible. Which I did find kind of issues where I'm like, okay, for instance, they can hear you every single noise, like they're thousands of miles like in the middle of nowhere, and yet they can hear you thousands of miles away. Like, I mean, I was like, okay, but like if you, for instance, were to scream and there's none in sight. Like I would think there should be some leniency in this. Like, okay, like if someone steps on a nail, and there's no one around, but like if it's like right there, I would understand. But like, there's no way there. I just feel like that was kind of where it took me out of it. Like, there's no way. Like, okay, whenever like, I'll believe that an alien, like when you play the toy, alien was near the bridge. I'll believe that. But like when all of a sudden, like whenever you drop something at night, and I'm like that to me, I'm like, there's no way that an alien heard you. Everything should be fine. And I just feel like those issues like that were where I had issues with them. Like, okay, like they're not there 24/7 watching you. Like they don't even know where the humans are at, And I just think that is sometimes where it kind of took me out of it, where of the realism, where it's like, okay, these things are like always nearby and have like super hearing, where they're always there 24/7. That's one thing that kind of felt like took me out of the movie. But I really enjoyed this movie, and this is a really well-made movie, and it's a unique perspective on horror films. And obviously, there have been plenty of rip-off movies like Bird Box that try to copy this formula. And I honestly just think it's a well-made movie, and I honestly say if you haven't checked this movie out, go check it out. It's a well-made film. If I had to give this movie a grade, I would give it an A. Thank you so much.